We're ready to go ahead with our next session, that is Scaling the National ID, Enrollment, Authentication, Ecosystem Enablement, and the Roadmap to Priority Use Cases. And we have someone from the Philippines Statistical Authority, PSA Philippines.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone got their coffee and got energized. It's been, I think, been a long day for everyone, having discussed a lot of topics and a lot of information has been given to us. Hopefully, we get to discuss or about to discuss our journey in the Philippines on how we've been implementing our national ID from enrollment to having the authentication and our future strategy or future forward outlook on our national ID system. So I'm Joshua Querol from the Philippine Statistics Authority. So just a quick trivia about the Philippines. We have a lot of beaches, good food. Some of our words are actually borrowed from Spanish, so some Spanish words we kind of understand. So with my presentation, as I've mentioned, I'll be providing you our journey on how we have done in the Philippine settings. So a quick history of our national ID. So it was established by law in August 2018 as a single, unified, and government-recognized identification system. So from the beginning, it was designed to be the foundational ID. It was never meant to replace the sectoral or functional IDs that we currently have, but provide a common and trusted identity layer that other systems can rely on. This design allows government and private institutions to verify identity and reduce duplication and enable interoperability across service. So it was aimed to simplify access to public and private services. Individuals no longer need to present multiple documents to prove who they are. So this lowers the friction or bureaucracy, and it lowers the barrier to access services. At the same time, it improves efficiency and trust in identity verification. A trusted and standardized identity reduces manual checks, shorten processing time, and minimize error and fraud. More importantly, the national ID enables interoperability across government services and industry. With a common layer, different systems can interact securely and consistently, supporting digital transactions and service integrations. Together, these outcomes transforms identity from a static credential, not just a piece of paper, but it's an enabling platform, one that supports inclusion, strengthens governance, and underpins digital transformation across sectors, not just through the government, but to the industry as well. This is why national ID is positioned not just an identification system, but as a core component of the country's digital public infrastructure. So currently, our enrollment started January 2021. So this marked the operation or the start of the Philippine National ID. From the outset, we wanted to reach as many Filipinos as possible, ensuring identity enrollment could happen across geographies and socio-economic conditions. So as of today, we have 90.7 individuals who have been issued the national ID numbers. So this level Coverage reflects not only population size, but the ability of the system to operate as at scale. This foundation is critical because the value of authentication and service integration depends on having a broad and representative populations enrolled. For us to achieve this scale, we implemented not a centralized infrastructure, but rather we've positioned our registration centers close to the communities. So we didn't rely on fixed registration centers alone. We adopted an inclusive and decentralized enrollment model designed to reach people where they are. This includes combination of nationwide fixed sites and mobile registration initiatives. As you can see, we have this national ID on wheels. We also have this national ID on boat. So this mobile units allows registration to reach communities that are geographically isolated, usually difficult to access by traditional government infrastructures. So this approach is made possible made possible with a very strong partnership at the grassroots level. The PSA, or Philippine Statistics Authority, works closely with local government units to the smallest unit of government in the Philippines called barangay, to the municipal or city government, and also at the provincial level. So this partnership provides local knowledge, logistical support, community trust, which are essential for effective outreach. So in practice, PSA is frequently invited to different community events, sometimes local celebration, service caravans, or LGU or local government-led initiatives. So it's embedded in the community. Through this, enrollment becomes not just centralized program, but a locally supported public service, which provides shared commitment by the central government and the local government. So with with the Philippines, or what we've done is we didn't limit also within our country. For our country with a large and globally mobile population, the national ID must work not only within the borders of the Philippines but beyond them. Our country has been, sorry. Our country has the largest diaspora, around 10.7 million Filipinos are living and working abroad. And that and within that 10.7 million, 2.19 million are overseas Filipino workers. So basically, those people living abroad and working abroad needs to have that secure and trusted identity across service to access to government services here in the Philippines. Ensuring that overseas Filipinos are included in the national ID system, we have different registration that is conducted through the Foreign Service Post and special registration missions. These efforts allow registration to take place where Filipinos live and work, rather waiting them to return home. A lot of these Filipinos or overseas Filipinos sometimes took time to return or years to return to the Philippines. So we took it, and we have that initiative that we need to include them, reach them. So we've created overseas registration as well. So by extending identity beyond borders, the national ID reinforces the principle that location should not determine access to legal identity. And with this enrollment, the value is really about when identity can be trusted and used. And this where authentication comes in. So authentication is the mechanism that turns a registered identity in a usable digital service. So the national ID supports authentication and verification use case. It is designed to integrate both with government and private institution, having that shared identity layer rather having different or fragmented ecosystem. So through this ecosystem, the national ID enables the electronic know yourself customer and digital transaction. It becomes a platform that supports digital government and quality service delivery across sectors. Today, we have 150 relying party systems across sectors that are onboarded or in active coordination. Of these 51 systems, they are already live and already serving the public. The others are in technical review or still doing compliance review. As adoption grows across relying party system, scale alone is not enough. So to maintain that adoption and continue the scale, we want that governance to come in, not just to have that additional layer, but rather to have that sustained trust and scale. So we maintain, what we do is we have maintained ongoing coordination with regulatory bodies to ensure that identity use align with existing legal and financial sectoral frameworks. In particular, we have closely collaborated or worked with our Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the Central Bank of the Philippines to ensure that the only or the primary ID that the clients or customer would present is the national ID. And beyond financial sector, we have held multiple discussions with the health sector and with agencies responsible for social protection program. So this engagement focus on understanding the requirements of their organization or their jurisdiction, defining appropriate use cases and ensuring that identity support access without creating additional layer or bureaucracy. So across all this engagement, we place strong emphasis on data protection and purpose-limited use. Identity use only when necessary and always within clear defined legal and operational boundaries. This multi-stakeholder approach helps ensure that national ID ecosystem grows in a way that is trusted and responsive to real needs. So beyond regulators, adoption is also driven by broad engagement across the ecosystem. So the growth of relying party systems is also the result of sustained engagement across multiple sectors. So the National ID program actively brings together government agencies, private sector institutions, development partners, and technical stakeholders through different forums, workshop, working session. And this engagement creates shared understanding on how identity can be used responsibly and effectively. During these sessions, it's more of a partnership rather than telling them what they need to do. It's not a directive, but rather we try to work as partners, co-equal on this engagement. So stakeholders are able to raise their operational concerns, explore use cases, and align timelines of their timelines based on their readiness. So this engagement helps ensure that integration are demand-driven and fit to purpose. Over time, this approach lower integration barriers and encourages more organization to move from the discussion to the development to going live as a relying party or their system being consumed by the general public. So collaboration alone is not sufficient, but trust should be embedded into how identity is used. So a central reason of adoption as well is the growing because we've been emphasizing on data protection and purpose limited use. So from the outset, the national ID has been designed to have clear boundaries on how identity can be accessed and for what purposes. Authentication and verification are conducted only when authorized and only the extent necessary for that service or for whatever purpose it has been declared. In the Philippines, we have the data protection law. And with that law, before you gather information or take the what we call the personal identifier information, there is a clear consent on what this data will be collected and how that data is going to be used. So for a relying party, this approach trust, not only with the organization but also with the public. So organizations are more willing to integrate when identity use align with their expectation and legal requirement. So it allows the national ID to scale not just in numbers, but in credibility and long-term institutional trust. So given that's our history or where we currently are, I go to our more of the future looking, and basically it shows that, as I mentioned earlier, the national ID is not just a record or a list of people, but rather a platform that would be providing an impact to society as a whole. So to further have that impact to the government as well, we are looking at doing targeting and deduplication for the social protection program. So at scale, identity allows us to ensure that social protection are given to the right people. And this improves accuracy, reduces leakages, and strengthens public trust without adding that bureaucracy or barrier to able to get that benefits. Then we go for fraud prevention across government services, because as more services move online, trusted authentication becomes essential. The national ID provides a common verification layer that helps agencies prevent impersonation and misuse while still respecting the data protection and purpose limitation. Then we'll be integrating our national ID with our civil registry or registration. So by connecting the identity with birth, marriage, and death, so we improve the data quality, reduce administrative burden, and ensure that identity remains accurate over time. So, taking these priorities, it showed that national ID can evolve to just a mere administrative system into a foundational component of digital public infrastructure. In the Philippines, this evolution reflects deliberate decision to prioritize digitalization. Not just a technology initiative because everyone's talking about it, but it's really a development strategy. By investing in a foundational ID, we are enabling more inclusive service delivery, trusted digital transaction, and stronger institutional coordination across government. This is how identity supports a future-ready, resilient, and people-centered state. And that would be my presentation for today. Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon.